Well, right on time for breaking today. Good evening from where you're watching us from. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Michael Maivia. On a day that Kuppet wants boarding schools abolished over increased in discipline among learners. We have a lot in line for you and these are our top stories.
Kenya declares it will not withdraw KDF from Somalia until the country becomes stable enough. This comes as IGAD clears Kenya of wrong accusations against Somalia. 41 MPs and senators, including Irungu Kang'ata from Mount Kenya region, write an open letter to President Uhuru Kenyatta for not being invited to the Saturday's convention at Sagana. ODM leader Raila Odinga condemns all the allegations from politicians, claiming he's not a believer.
Well, talk to us via social media platforms at Switch TV Kenya, at Joel Chacha M on Twitter, and as well on Facebook, Switch TV Kenya and Joel Chacha. Also send in an SMS via 111 We begin. Tension between Somalia and Kenya seems to be brewing daily. Barely a day after IGAD cleared Kenya of allegations leveled against her by the Somalia government. The government has said it will not withdraw KDF from Somalia, even as Somalia threatens to withdraw from IGAD for alleged unfair fact-finding mission by Djibouti President Samuel Namukana reports.
The Kenya Defense Forces will not leave Somalia 8 years after they made their way into Somalia to restore peace in the country disturbed by the Al-Shabaab militia. This is according to the government spokesman, retired Colonel Cyrus Oguna. During a press briefing with the fourth estate, Oguna affirmed that the continuous stay of the KDF soldiers in Somalia was to foster peace and stability in the insecurity-prone region.
Itakuwa ni umoja wa nchi huru za Afrika kutoa uamuzi kwamba kufikia wakati huu tuondoe majeshi yetu, alafu na sasa KDF itarudi nyumbani.
Tension within the two neighboring countries seems to be brewing daily, barely a day after Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, declared Kenya of allegations leveled against her by Somalia government. Oguna has advised Somalia to find alternative ways of solving their internal conflicts rather than blame Kenya.
That this event that we've been witnessing have their genesis in the domestic political activities in Somalia, with every effort being made by the leaders in that country to give them an external dimension or external angle. As a country, we want to state very clearly and categorically that we will not accept to be drawn into internal politics of Somalia.
Earlier today, the federal government of Somalia threatened to withdraw from IGAD in a letter, and I quote, IGAD has overwhelmingly demonstrated incapability to be a fair and independent arbiter. The federal government of Somalia calls for immediate withdrawal of the baseless and unfair report and demands an apology, failure to which Somalia is considering withdrawing from IGAD. Yesterday, in a report, IGAD said that the fact-finding mission affirmed the fact that allegations by Somalia against Kenya were wholly unfounded.
That as a country, we will always respect borders as they were as at the time that we achieved independence.
Regarding the national security status in Baringo and Turkana borders, Oguna claimed life in Kapedo is slowly returning to normal after days of tension in the region, and that the operation is still on to fully calm the situation. Even as IGAD clears Kenya of allegations made by Somali, it seems the rift between the two neighboring countries is getting wider and wider. Namukana Samuel, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Shifting gears now to matters politics. Jubilee Party Vice Chairman David Murathe has backed the letter by Senate Majority Whip Irungu Kang'ata addressing the popularity of the Building Bridges initiative, terming it as factual and that Kang'ata should not be victimized for that. David Kagina filed the report.
With the president expected to host a delegation from Mount Kenya region at Sagana this weekend, 41 uninvited MPs and senators from the region have written a 13-page open letter to President Uhuru Kenyatta showing their disappointment in their son. In the letter with signatories, including the Senate Majority Whip Irungu Kang'ata, the leaders from Mount Kenya have raised a number of issues pertinent to them. In the letter, they state, and I quote, outcomes of previous engagements with regional leadership have not led to productive follow-up and implementation, end of quote. The letter is segmented in subsections of topical issues, including politics of deceit and betrayal, Raila Odinga as an independent agenda, and political persecution of leaders, among others. Jubilee Vice Chairman David Murathe, speaking in his native language in an interview with Kameme TV, has stated the move to leave them out on the invitation was intentional.
Mushimani wa Juma no wa munene. Na munene no wetanite. Okay? Na munene no ora decide no egweta. Na no ategweta. Okay? Na nĩ kũrĩ andũ ũngĩta makũirie ngoro. Nĩwanyita hau? Nĩ kũrĩ andũ mũnene ndangĩenda ona makuhanĩrĩrie nao. Nĩ kũira ngoro. Tacio mwe matira gũkũ makĩmũruma.
The Jubilee Vice Chairperson David Murathe has however backed Irungu Kang'ata's letter on the popularity of the Building Bridges initiative in the central Kenya, terming it as factual. The Vice Chair further named Senators Millicent Omanga, Isaac Mwaura and Mary Yane as likely first victims of a cleanup in the Jubilee Party that aims at doing away with party defectors, confessing to be the one that has been pushing the Jubilee Party leader to punishing the errant members to enforce respect for his office. David Kagina, Switch TV.
While still facing Mount Kenya, Murang'a elected leaders together with former legislators have agreed to work jointly in campaigning for the Building Bridges initiative in the county. The leaders have formed a county and constituency committees which will coordinate public participation and educate locals about the document. Today, the leaders vow to actively engage the local residents and educate them about the report, which is believed to be unpopular in the Mount Kenya region. Speaking after being undertaken through the document by members of BBI Secretariat, the leaders, led by Governor Mwangi wa Iria, say they have understood details contained in the report and they will embark to educate the locals about the BBI.
Today, as Mount Kenya leader, as Murang'a leaders, we have met, and we've met because this is the right time. BBI is now at the stage of being addressed by the county assemblies. And this is a time that it's getting closer to Mwananchi. There's no one time when the timetable had said that BBI is supposed to be discussed with Mwananchi. We are now getting closer there. The representatives of Mwananchi have started discussing it. MCAs will discuss it. Then the National Assembly and Senate. Then from there, it will now be taken to Mwananchi.
There has been a lot of politics around the BBI, and that's what we are trying to do, is to help ourselves together to tone down our political, perhaps perceptions and differences, so that we can isolate the real issues that are supporting or helping our country to move forward.
We have all agreed that going forward, we'll take the document to the people, because in the assembly we have a procedure and a process that a bill must be taken through.
Still on matters politics, ODM leader Raila Odinga has condemned all the allegations from politicians, claiming that he does not believe in God and that he's only an ODM leader. Of course, he has condemned all those politicians claiming that he does not believe in God and that he's only a kitendawili man. As Robert Oma reports, Raila says he is a beneficiary of God's mercies and miracles and that no man can bring him down.
Came through for me.
During his address to the members of the clergy in a meeting that was aimed at deliberating on the BBI proposals, Raila said that he is alive today because of God and that the holier-than-thou community condemning his faith could be even worse.
I am a beneficiary of God's mercies and miracles. So many times I'm left speechless when holier-than-thou members of our country say that Raila Odinga does not believe in God. What vitendawili? Who will not believe in God and His miraculous way after going through what I have personally, with my family, gone through? It's not good.
Raila says that God has been his pillar all through his life and that he will never be brought down by mere human beings.
And indeed, God has been on our side. The worst the world predicted for us has turned into a false prophecy.
They are saying this thing.
Raila has also called on the members of the clergy to support the handshake between him and President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Building Bridges initiative for the unity of the country and to foster peace among Kenyans.
I am here to appeal to you to be the Moses and Joshua of the Exodus and help our people overcome the scary giants on the way and get us to Canaan. I believe religious leaders find no joy in burying one member of the flock after another every 5 years because of election violence.
According to Raila, with the support of the religious leaders, the BBI ship will smoothly sail through even with the prevailing political storms ahead. Robert Omar, Switch TV News.
Meanwhile, Deputy President William Ruto has taken a swipe at ODM leader Raila Odinga and his BBI brigade, saying he is miles ahead of them. Speaking during a rally at Bama Market today, where rowdy youth disrupted a rally by his team, Ruto has stated that the BBI sensitization rallies are all about hustlers and wheelbarrows, a narrative that he started. Nyakundi Kelvin is our reporter.
The Deputy President William Ruto was today in Bama Market, where Raila was last week. His rally was disrupted today, just like yesterday's Raila Githurai BBI rally. The charged mob caused commotion, chanting BBI slogans. The second in command, who however continued to address the crowd, sustained his onslaught on Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga.
Kila mtoto kwa shule atakuwa na laptop. Miaka sasa ni 8. Wale watoto walikuwa darasa ya kwanza, wako darasa ya 8, wanakwenda kufanya mtihani. Hiyo laptop imeonekana. Walisema tutazalisha kazi 1,000,000 kila mwaka. Kazi wa maana. Haita kazi. Umeona hiyo?
Ati audio ni mbaya.
Wamekuwa kama ngiri. Sasa narudi kusema mama mboga, mtu mkokoteni, ati wheelbarrow ndio italeta maendeleo. Hiyo nini? Takataka.
Ni lini aligundua ya kwamba Jubilee haijafanya kazi? Ni lini aligundua ya kwamba stadium haijajengwa? Ni lini aligundua ya kwamba kazi 1,000,000 haijapatikana? Awache utapeli. Kama ako na njama ya kuondoka kwa ile mpango wa kuwa na rais, aondoke polepole, awache kutafuta vijisababu.
Ruto reiterated his earlier remarks linking the failures of the Jubilee administration, the opposition chief, after he allegedly hijacked the government through handshake.
Nataka niwaambie watu wa chama ya kitendawili, wawache kutumia vijana vibaya. Vijana katika mji wetu wa Nairobi na Kenya wanataka nafasi ya kufanya biashara. Mtu wa kiosk asaidiwe anunue duka. Mtu wa duka atengeneze supermarket. Mtu wa bodaboda asaidiwe anunue taxi.
The Deputy President has dismissed those who claim that they have the deep state and the system in their favor, hence standing a better chance to form the next government in 2022, saying he is armed with God and the people's votes. Nyakundi Kelvin, Switch TV.
Well, much in the political world, and still on matters BBI, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, that is NCCK, has urged members of the County Assembly to carefully review the BBI document. The NCCK has asked the county assemblies to weed out all unnecessary proposals that may prove to be a burden to the common mwananchi. This comes just days after IEBC verified the 1.4 million BBI signatures.
We want to address the members of the County Assembly. You, the members of the County Assembly, must arise to the occasion and debate soberly, knowing too well that history will judge you lightly or longly. You must ask the hard questions now. Listen to Wajiko keenly. Debating the document giving you the control of 5% of the devolved funds should not compromise your integrity on the way you vote. It is such moment like this that your leadership counts for this nation. We are asking the reggae dancers and the wheelbarrow pushers to come together and reason together. As it is now, the war drums are at fever pitch. This is not good for our beloved country. The church, however, is still open for discussion and dialogue. And we are asking that those who are seeking endorsement from certain quarters of the church and religious organization should know that the church is now more united.
Well, we are due for a short commercial break, but keep the conversation going on our social media platforms at Switch TV Kenya on Twitter and at Joel Chacha M on Twitter and as well on Facebook. Switch TV Kenya and Joel Chacha. For now, we are taking a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Breaking Today. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Michael Maivia. Just a comment on Facebook. Of course, before the break, we were having much political stories, and Emma James saying Ruto sent his brigades to do it yesterday. Less did he know that the clock is counting, saying, of course, that's Emma James from Mombasa. Of course, just keep sending in your feedback via our SMS line, that is 111-444-111. Moving on, and now focus on matters education. Education CS Professor George Magoha has ordered all school heads to confiscate all the hand sanitizers in learners' custody in a bid to curb arson and assault incidents in schools, hinting that corporal punishment will be reintroduced soon. Sazamunga reports.
Speaking at St. Joseph Nabururu Primary School in Kitutu Central Sub-County in Kisii County, CS Magoha also publicly announced transfer of learners from institutions with criminal incidences, saying such requests will not be tolerated in the future.
Bottle of sanitizer here. This is 70% alcohol. So I'm charging all the head teachers to inspect the children, and any child found with this must be confiscated immediately, because they are not responsible enough. They can use it as a drug, because the second point I was going to talk about is drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and substance abuse. We are now working with the DCI to create a critical database, an active critical database. So don't you think that you will burn a house or you burn a building in the school and it will be forgotten. It will follow you for the rest of your life. So you better think twice before you take a knife and stab your teacher because you think you are a child.
The CS also added that all perpetrators of child pregnancy will be reprimanded, despite the learners being allowed to go back to school after delivery, adding that traditional methods of settling such disputes will not be tolerated. Sazamunga, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Just a reaction of that particular story now. KUPPET, that is the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers Union, of course, is just saying that boarding schools should be abolished, and that is over increased indiscipline among learners, that boarding schools should be abolished due to the indiscipline cases rising day by day. Just share in your opinion of 111 Away from that, a property of unknown value was destroyed following a fire outbreak at the Garissa County Assembly today morning, where the huge inferno, which began at around 8:30 a.m., destroyed the County Assembly chambers, offices of the members of the County Assembly, and other premises at the building, largely made of wooden structures. According to the Garissa County Assembly Minority Leader Mohammed Ali, the fire gutted down about 40 to 50% of the County Assembly. Efforts made by the public to put off the fire using fire extinguishers proved futile, as the chambers floors are carpeted and ceiling is made of painted wood. The cause of the fire was not immediately established, and investigations surrounding it continue. Moving on, Council of Elders from the Maasai community have conducted new elections in an effort to resolve a leadership conflict that has been witnessed among them. A conflict emerged from the council that led by the council, that led the council to be led by the acting committee since 2018. Kilina Ole Nchoe was announced the winner after beating her closest competitor, that is Kasein Ole Show, after she garnered herself 59 votes in the election held at William Olentimama Sports Field. In his speech, Kilina has pledged to focus more on the Ma Community Union by connecting narrow counties, Kajiado, Samburu, Baringo, regardless of clans, vowing to cooperate with the government to call for a BBI report.
Lakini kwa ajili ya fuja ameingia mpaka hiyo mambo akashinda DC. Ni watu natawanyeka. Lakini vile ilivyo, naomba serikali yetu hiyo kura arudiwe na kuhesabiwa na kuweka security ya kutosha kulingana na delegate katika kaunti.
Ni kushukuru wazee wa Masai wote kwa vile wamefanya kazi ya leo ya kufanya demokrasia ya kwanza Kenya kwa wazee kujichagua wenyewe. Ile tu ningetaka kusema wale ambao walijaribu kuleta fujo hapa, kutanganisha, tafadhali. Hatuna tangatanga Narok, hatuna kieleweke, hatuna chochote kabisa. Sisi tuna Wamasai, community ya Wamasai, na kama ni serikali, kama wanatufanyia vizuri tutasupport.
Right, it's time for business. Good evening and welcome. My name is Clifford Ndubi. Now, Somalia's federal government has officially lifted the ban on the importation of kata or mira from Kenya, and today, backing up Somalia's government sentiments, government spokesman Cyrus Oguna has reiterated that the export of the product will not be stoppable. As he downplayed the diplomacy feud between the two countries, Somalia had stopped the importation of kata when international flights were suspended last year due to fear of the spread of COVID-19.
Mira tunaelewa kwamba ni biashara muhimu sana hasa kwa watu wetu, na serikali ingependa kila kufanya mahojiano, sio kufanya kukubaliana na nchi jirani kwamba soko ya miraa iweze kuwa wazi. Nakumbuka, nafikiri ni juzi tu, kwamba nchi ya Somalia walikubali kwamba miraa inaweza pelekwa kule, kwa sababu sisi ni tunakuza miraa, lakini soko iko sehemu nyingine. Kwa hivyo kila nchi inatafuta soko kwa bidhaa zake, lakini ili soko iwepo lazima kuwe na uhusiano.
All right, today the world is celebrating Data Protection Day, where data is said to be a gold mine where billions are traded legally or sometimes illegally. In Kenya, the office is yet to take full operations by enforcing laws relating to data protection. How is the status of data in the country, and can the Commission operate independently from interference of a political class? Victor Ndede from Amnesty International is a research policy analyst, and these are his sentiments. In a global village we live in today, it is estimated that just 53.4% of the world's population are currently internet users, where estimates suggested that by the end of 2020, the world will have reached just 57% global internet usage, according to Sustainable Development Goal number 9 on industry, innovation and infrastructure. By and large, all this means that every microsecond, billions of data is processed. In Kenya, Data Protection Office is barely 2 months old, created with an aim of ensuring that nobody's privacy is infringed. Experts are wary of Kenyans whose data is used against their constitutional right, according to Act number 24 of 2019, Clause 32.
Previously, we didn't have a legal regime in place to govern data privacy. Two, people have yet to realize the value of their data when breaches occur.
With technology comes data. In recent years, most of Kenya's technological innovations has been centered on mobile phones, with several mobile innovations either originating from Kenya or using the country as a launchpad to the rest of the continent. With a commission of data now in place, the stakes will be high, and only time awaits to see if it will operate independently.
The dynamics that it plays within the national security angle and also public order angle. And as such, there will always be very vested interests in that office.
While at that and the world celebrating the World Data Protection Day, there is need to grant this office with the necessary institutional and financial independence to execute its mandate effectively under the new law. And finally, the Geothermal Development Company is seeking to expand its operations to Kajiado County, aimed to boost the county's economy that will provide business opportunities for different sectors. In collaboration with the county government, GDC is planning to develop a plant that will produce a 300 megawatt at Susua in the next 10 years.
Kajiado County is going green with a new geothermal plant to be constructed in the next 10 years. The GDC is looking to increase its energy production by 300 megawatts.
Actually, GDC will be happy to replicate the Susua prospect with the successful water distribution model that we've also implemented in Baringo Silali. Thirdly, also, would wish that the power generation will therefore attract diverse investment into the county, including manufacturing and tourism. This will be a major boost, therefore, to the county economy.
County Governor Joseph Olelenku has welcomed the project, saying that it will do good for the region that heavily depends on tourism, but due to the economic effects of the pandemic, the sector was largely affected.
We want to assure not only GDC, but also investors, including those in geothermal, that they will not find a better environment to invest in Kajiado.
The Suswa power plant is expected to replicate the Baringo Silali power site that was drilled in 2019. On top of the economic benefits to the residents, the extra 300 megawatts energy will also reduce the cost of electricity in the country. Reporting for Switch TV, my name is Joan Kutun.
Right, from Joan Kutuni, we wrap up business news of the day. Let's do this next week, same time, same place. See you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Up next is Sports News.
Well, time to now get sporty. The Kenya Golf Union has announced its plan in launching the World Handicap System in Kenya by the 5th of February this year. The handicap system was launched in January 2020 in the USA, South Africa, and a few other countries. Was initially scheduled to be launched in Kenya in September 2020, but this was not possible due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The move comes a day after the NCBA Golf Series launch, scheduled to kick off January 30th. Crossing borders now, Ozil has been officially, or rather has officially been unveiled as a Fenerbahce player of the year after nearly 8 years in North London. Ozil posted the number 67 shirt at his unveiling, and it is believed the unusual number is a sweet nod to his heritage, with 67 being the area code of Zonguldak, the province his family left to immigrate to Germany. Ozil was born in Germany and opted to represent